Hey everybody, welcome to Seattle Coffee Gear. I'm here, this is Pat here with Jake. Today we're talking about our roast of the month for September, which is Olympia's Ethiopia Buna Boka, which we have our bags of here. Tasty new washed Ethiopia from Olympia, which is cool because we haven't featured Olympia very recently. So it was nice to get something really tasty from them to feature this month. What do you think, Jake, just generally about this one?
So I really like this coffee. It's pretty fruit forward for a washed coffee, a lot more than I was expecting when we were
Mm-hmm.
first tasting it. It's bright. It's got that little bit of lemon brightness that makes it match the tasting note right on the bag of the lemonade, and it's got the berry notes that you'd expect out of an Ethiopia without being too overpowering. It's still a washed coffee at the end of the day, but it does a really great job of pushing those flavors more than you would expect out of a washed coffee, I think.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I actually, when I first brewed it, I was kind of assuming that it was a natural because I saw Olympia, I saw Ethiopia, and I didn't remember the specific producer. And it has that kind of pink purple label on
Hmm.
the bag, which I don't know why I associate that with naturals, but I just was
Hmm.
like, oh, this must be a natural. And I tasted it and I was like, oh, this is like a little mild for a natural, but it still has those flavors. So then when I was looking for the process on the bag and couldn't find anywhere where it said that it was a natural, and then I realized it was a washed, I was surprised because it definitely has a lot of that fruitiness, although it doesn't so much have the punch of berry that you get from Ethiopian naturals typically.
Right,
It's a
right.
little more, um, I guess, well rounded. Uh, I don't know. There's definitely strawberry there for sure. Like
Hmm.
they say strawberry lemonade. I think I get what they're going for. I don't know if I would go all the way to lemonade, but it's definitely a more kind of a brighter fruit flavor, which is backed up by that little bit of floral note too, which I like.
Exactly, exactly. This isn't like that blueberry bomb you would get out of a natural, like a
Right,
yogurt chef or something like that.
right,
It's
right.
not definitely not that, but it's got enough of that fruitiness to it's a more of adventurous washed coffee, I would think. Like
Yeah,
it's 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 bordering that natural and washed taste that I actually really like. I like the kind of hybrid taste that it's going for.
yeah.
Um,
And
and it's
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say we've seen that a lot this year with, particularly Ethiopian coffees. I feel like where we've gotten a lot of the kind of like midpoint roasts that are, whether they're honey process or washed, that are pushing at those kind of natural flavor notes without overwhelming. Because I think a lot of people, you go on this coffee journey when you start drinking coffee, serious coffee, where you're like, oh, just specialty coffee is great, and then you have your first natural and you're like, this is so full of flavor, this is perfect, this is amazing, and then you drink naturals for like 2 or 3 months, and then a lot of people revert to like, never mind, I hate it, I'm only going to drink washed coffee from now on. And then some people stick with naturals or whatever. But I think this year has been really good for if you're just starting to look at those kinds of coffees. There's been a lot this year that's like good and naturally without being that overwhelming blast of blueberry that you can get from like a yogurt chef, like you were saying.
Exactly, exactly. And I think it's kind of just catering to the taste of, the more adventurous new coffee journeys that everybody's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is trying to go for specialty coffee, third wave coffee, and I think it's really matching the taste of what we've seen and in what someone who doesn't necessarily want to start or continue going with the natural, but definitely pulling way more flavor than washed coffees of yesteryear for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's really tasty, and Olympia is continuing to push forward with their like fair trade programs and organic programs in a way that's good this year in particular. I think, given kind of global economic stuff, which is nice to see. It's nice to see them knock one of these out of the park because I would never suggest that their coffee isn't great or anything, but I haven't had anything from them this year that really wowed me the way that this one did.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, I'm right on board with that. You know, this is an organic coffee. A lot of their coffees tend to be organic, fair trade, things like that. And yeah, it's a really excellent single origin. I think you know, it really was probably the best Olympia I've had all year, if not one of the better Ethiopias I've
Yep,
had this year.
yep, agreed. Yeah. Um, I would say if you're looking to pick it up and you want advice on brew method, it's a really good pour over as you would expect because
Mm.
it has those brighter notes. It has that bit of like floral jasmine to it that they list. So I think it's good for that. I actually think it would. I haven't tried it as a drip brew, admittedly, but I think it would actually be pretty okay in a solid drip brewer, like especially one where you could control the temperature and bloom time. If you have like a precision brewer and you can do like a little bit of extra bloom on it and maybe brew it at like 199 or something, which I'm a weirdo. I can taste the differences in temperature, but yeah, I think it would be good as a drip brew as well.
Yeah, yeah. I actually did brew it on my precision brewer a couple
There you
days
go.
ago, and it does really well. It you know, you can pull a lot of the. You're not going to get quite as much brightness as you get, of course, out
Hmm.
of a pour over, but it does pull a lot of those flavors that you're looking for. And I did, um, yeah, I increased the bloom time, gave it a really long bloom, I think 45 seconds,
Yes. Yeah.
and it was really good. It was really nice in a drip brew. But pour over drip, I think that's where I
Yeah.
would limit
For
that
sure.
to.
Yeah. I wouldn't try this one. I don't think it would work very well in a press, and I think you would definitely struggle to get a great espresso shot out of it. Obviously, there's going to be people if you have like a really really outstanding grinder and a high end espresso machine, you can make any coffee taste really good. But definitely it's a tough one to dial in for espresso, I think. And that is a good note. It's an interesting one to try. Something I always look for with the rest of the month coffees is what's the thing you can try to experiment with them. And I think bloom time is a good one to mess around with on this coffee because I think it affects. I've bloomed it for like 20 seconds and for 40 seconds, and it definitely is a different it affects the flavor profile in pretty significant ways, and they're both really good. So you're not going to waste anything by
Exactly.
playing around with that time.
Yep, yep. I agree with you. Yeah, the bloom time, it makes a huge difference. And you know, I prefer the longer bloom. It does pull out what I like, but of course, you know, experimenting is huge with coffee, especially with this one. So
Yeah,
I would give it a try, and I think it's just a great overall single origin that I've been enjoying every morning this week.
cool. Well, I think that does it for us for this month. You can grab a bag right now, and as always, it's a single origin, so you want to get it before it shuffles off because it's hard to say how long these will last. So
Exactly.
so definitely recommend picking up a bag, and be sure to like and subscribe to the video on the channel if you want more of these videos. We'll have roast of the month videos continuing every month. So thanks for joining me, Jake,
Yep. Thank you, Matt.
and we'll see everybody next time.